Hey everybody, welcome all my new Earth leaders. I have 447, it goes to 448, and then back to 447. This channel is absolutely in a standstill. Not sure what the holdup is, but I trust that the divine timing is doing this for a reason. So, this eclipse has been intense, to put it lightly. I hardly slept a wink last night. I went to bed before midnight, and I felt like my whole entire body was vibrating out of itself. And so I got up. I didn't want to keep Amanda up. And I witnessed the lunar eclipse at about 3:30 in the morning. And then I think I've been back to sleep about 5. So I'm exhausted. And I'm getting waves of exhaustion all day. I've noticed like weird phantom pains. I got one in my neck. I got one on the top of my right foot. Strange. And the left side of my left foot. I don't know what it's for, but they just come out of nowhere. It's just this achiness in general. And I know everybody else is going through something. Like it's going to vary drastically based on what you're dealing with in particular. So anything can be an ascension symptom. But it is really intense right now. And I suspect it won't be much different tonight. Just as intense. And it's going to take a few days after this before it starts to trickle off and we start, let's say, grounding in all of this new energy and feeling a bit better. So hang in there. I have noticed a lot of emotional just upwelling out of nowhere. No apparent reason for it. I'm feeling it right now, actually. I'm kind of emotional. It has a lot to do with, well, a big part of my life and my challenge has been financial security. So I grew up extremely poor, and extremely, like we never owned a vehicle, we lived without houses. I remember a bathtub being installed. It got better. We ended up in a low-income housing situation when I was about, let's say, 14, 12, and until I moved out when I was 18. And which was better. It was a new home, which was like a miracle for us. I mean, nothing special, but wow. And still, though, we never owned a vehicle, and food was a concern a lot of the time. I remember food banks and the local church pantry would drop food off, especially around Christmas time. So I spent my whole life trying to make money and, make sure that my kids didn't go through something like this. And I did that for a long time. I got out of university and I was determined. Well, first of all, no one in my family had ever gone to university except for my 2 siblings and myself and this entire family, like that whole side of the family. And probably not even the other side. So they were much more successful. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. And so we came out of there, and I, in particular, came out of there with a chip on my shoulder, and I was going to go make money. So I tailored every decision I made in my life around financial security, not my own happiness, and certainly not about healing. That was an afterthought. One of my favorite sayings was, "We'll sleep when you're dead." I worked as many hours and many days as I could get my grubby little hands on, and it was all out of fear. And I'm trying to deal with that now because over the last year I took a year off. make a dime for a year. Well, that's not true. I'll explain in a minute. I did make us $34. Anyway, I've been giving gifts all year in order to take this time off to heal myself from all the emotional trauma that I suffered as a kid, as well as to quit drinking alcohol and abusing substances in general. Just in general, being a better human and healing myself. And it's been a very costly year. So I'm running out of money. I'm trying to stay positive. I'm trying to keep the faith. And right now the energy is so difficult that it's getting hard. And I do think I need to deal with this. I need to face this and be somehow okay with not being secure in the classical sense, financially secure. And it's hard. I don't know how to do this. I have, 3 children and a wife and a bunch of fur babies who depend on me to pay these bills that we're all forced to pay. And I don't know what to do. I'm trying to go back to work before money runs out, which looks like it's going to happen, but there's a lot of screwing around in that department as well, and nothing seems to be clear. So I don't have any answers, and I'm still waiting for an answer, and nothing wants to move. Now I've had a lot of faith for a long time here. I quit my job listening to Spirit and God, knowing that I needed to heal myself. I've had support from my entire family over this. Yet, when does this financial breakthrough happen where I can feel safe? For the first time in my life. I don't want to be rich. I just want an opportunity where I can provide for my family and enjoy the work that I have to do. I know it sounds crazy, but wow, what an idea. And I've tried a bunch of things, including this YouTube channel, which seems to have, it's just petering out and not being the correct path. I keep getting suggestions on things to do. I keep trying them. I spend the money on these courses and lessons and things, but they just don't amount to any financial success. And I have to know that there's a reason for all of this. I know there is, but you do need dollars in order to pay bills. I wish it wasn't like this. I wish we didn't have it set up this way. I wish it was, 2 years in the future where I know things are going to be different, but it isn't right now. And I would really, really like something to change. I've been praying on it. I've been asking for a sign on what to do next. And it's just radio silence from Spirit and God. And here comes an eagle. No, there's a sign, I guess. There's got to be a breakthrough somehow. I started a Patreon channel hoping that some people would subscribe. The smallest tier on that Patreon channel is $10, and I've literally had one person sign up for this. I do extra content over there, and I offer some things, for the price of a cup of Starbucks coffee. But I can't get anyone to sign up. So I guess I'm just not providing what I need to provide for that $10. So, people aren't seeing the value in my content to the tune of $10 a month. And that's unfortunate. I wish it wasn't the case. I'm trying to be optimistic, but I just, I've asked for help in this system that we have, which is minimal, and it's just not happening. So I'm assuming everyone is financially strapped like myself, and I understand. I don't blame you if you can't afford it. That's a terrible shame, but I do understand. Don't feel obligated to do something that you can't afford. I've been saying that since the start, but I did kind of think that maybe more than one person would sign up. And I do appreciate you, Scott, just so you know. I really do. I won't forget this. Things will change in the future, and I won't forget the people who've helped me on the way. I absolutely will not. Now, we wait. I see the sun going down, and I'm sure the moon is rising on the horizon here. And I'm charging this electric vehicle. Thank God for this car, because this has saved me so much money on gasoline that I don't think I would have had to have gone back to work a lot earlier if I hadn't bought this car when I did. So, the hand of God has clearly been in my life for the last year. I know it. I see it. I had my retirement savings invested in Tesla, and the stock went 1.5 times from where I had purchased it. And I started using that money to live off of. Now it's gone the other direction now, but it's irrelevant because I used it all up to live. So, God saw fit to finance my year off. It was by no means restful. And that's another thing that's kind of frustrating. Yes, I haven't worked in a year, but my God, I've done a lot of work. I've never needed a vacation more. But what can you do, It just isn't in the cards, and it looks like I'll be heading back to the grind just to make ends meet. And it's a frustrating thing. I'm sure many of you are going through this. This path of the New Earth Leader is not an easy one. We aren't designed to be here in reality. By that I mean the way the society and the financial system is set up is crippling to all of us. I hate this. I just want to be out in the woods and, working a garden and being in nature. And of course, society's not set up to be that way where you can make money doing that kind of thing, because you'd thrive. And if you thrive, you start to think about how the system could be changed, and maybe there's a better way to do this. And they can't have that. They can't have you thinking independently. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background. These systems are being affected and adjusted in the background, but it's going to take some time, and in the meantime, it's going to be difficult. There's going to be scary things that are going to happen on the outside. Nothing is going to happen to you that isn't meant to happen, but that doesn't mean it won't be scary. I wish it wasn't, but a big part of me realizes that if I had financial abundance right now, I would have wasted it. It's not a waste, but I wouldn't have directed it in the correct place. So this place that we're down here enduring is a school. And everybody is here to learn their set of lessons that they wrote for themselves. Which means maybe that is financial stress and strain. Maybe it is hardships. And if you're to come in and use the finances that the universe sees fit to give you to alleviate this from people, it's just going to end up back in the same place anyway, because they need to learn that lesson. And it's very hard for me not to give in excess. It is. Oh my God. If I could describe some of the things that I've done in my life, and just bleeding heart would be the best description. And, you know, it's not been a good thing. It hasn't set me up financially. You know, I needed to actually be a little more selfish and think of myself more, my family and myself, and I just couldn't do it. So I want to thank my mother for that, because that's where that bleeding heart came from. She was very much like that. Yeah, I don't know what this video is about, but other than that, I could really use some help. I'm not sure how to ask the universe to give it to me. I've been asking in the ways that I think it's supposed to go, but maybe I can ask you guys. And if you have the financial means, please do me a huge favor. Go over to Patreon and sign up for one of the tiers. You're going to be helping me, without a doubt. Like, if you don't have the means and you don't feel that the content is worth that $10 a month, then I understand. And it's just disappointing, you know. I was hoping that this world would be a little bit more, you know, I've given a lot to a lot of people in my life, and I just haven't seen the return yet on this. I'm trying to hold faith that it's going to come. I do believe in karma, and I do understand how this works. It just when you just keep suffering and hanging on and waiting and waiting and waiting, you wonder if it ever is going to show up, you know. When you have to go do those things that you swore you'd never have to do again, and you wouldn't do it, and now you're going to do it. It just hurts. So I think I'll leave it there. Hope everybody else is doing okay with these energies. I understand it's difficult. There's no two ways about it. So be gentle with yourself. Don't try to push through this. If you need a nap, take a nap. Drink lots of water. And try to stay heart-centered and meditate. Breathe. And for God's sakes, don't watch the news. There's my advice for today. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there. I hope this video finds you well. I love you all. And we'll see you soon.